guys, it's Kelsey here and welcome back to my channel. I apologize for the weird and awkward lighting. I am filming this on my laptop and I don't have a proper camera yet, so this is what you're getting. But I do want to talk to you guys today about anxiety. I'd like to share with you a little bit about what I personally have been through, the types of anxiety I have, how I cope with it, and essentially how I'm moving forward currently. I might say a lot. I don't film very often. You know that I put up a video few and far between. You guys know that I ramble and I have a hard time getting to the point. So if you're not into that and if you're not into me, then please unsubscribe if you want. But if you want me to keep making videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. If you want more videos, like maybe not like this, but just more videos in general, please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. Give this video a thumbs up if you can relate to anxiety, you have anxiety, or you like watching videos about anxiety. So essentially, I just want to tell you guys a little disclaimer is that one thing that I've learned when it comes to talking about anxiety and talking to yourself about anxiety, or just the label of anxiety in general, is that there is unfortunately negative connotations to that label. Not only outwardly people have a negative view or a skewed view, but remember that when you talk to yourself about anxiety, be careful to be gentle and try not to label yourself as anxiety. You are not your anxiety. You are a thinking, breathing individual who struggles every day to get through the day because of whatever types of anxious thoughts you have racing through your mind. So that essentially is my introduction to this. I'm going to change my channel name to All Kinds of Kelsey. Sorry, that was what I was going to change my channel name to. I'm still thinking about names, but I just find Your Kind. You might not know what the channel name means, but I know what it means, and I like the name, but I don't really like what it means, if that makes sense. Essentially, Find Your Kind is from lyrics of a Arcade Fire song. I believe it's called Mountains 2. And in the lyrics, one of my favorite songs, and when the lyrics, she says, go and find your kind, it just means essentially that you would find people like you, because I know that I've struggled being a unique person. It's hard, you know, I've been in groups of people that I feel like don't reflect me or don't reflect things I like and my personality. So it just means that you go and find like people like you. So if you're a creative person, meet other creative people, meet people into books, meet people into movies, meet people who are gothic, who are into hip-hop, whatever it is. It just means find like individuals. Don't find people that put you down or make you feel weird. So that was the behind Find Your Kind. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have a different name or you guys have an idea of what you think should be my channel name. I think All Kinds of Kelsey makes sense because there's a bunch of new things happening with my channel. I know I've been gone for some time. I plan to film an update video separately just because I'm already rambling through this one because I haven't filmed in so long. But I would like to be doing book reviews, movie reviews, travel videos, and as well as self-help videos. So before that, my channel was more geared to makeup and fashion, and now I'm going this direction, which is all directions. That's just how I am. That's just how I roll. That might have something to do with why I'm so weird and quirky, but anyways, I like a lot of things. I have a lot of hobbies. My ex had this saying, he's a jack of all trades, master of none. It's not his saying, but he used to say that about himself. And I was very similar to that, where I have a lot of different interests and abilities, but I'm not really like a master in anything. Like I'm not an expert in anything. So I kind of just like to spread myself around, if that makes sense, when it comes to my hobbies and interests. So, now that I've rambled for almost 5 minutes, I just want to get into a little bit about my anxiety, how I deal with it, and how I cope with it. So, I'll tell you about the types, and then I'll go into more detail. So the first one is covert perfectionism. Again, like I said in the disclaimer, I don't think labeling myself is such a good idea. So I'm just kind of telling you things in which symptoms that relate to me and how I've struggled with it and why it's affected me. But again, I'm really not owning these labels. I just more so have done research and realized that this affects me and also it affects a lot of people. And I just kind of want to share a little bit about it and why it's important to talk about it as well. If that makes sense. It is important to talk about it, but anyways, I digress as always. So, covert perfectionism. So there's two types of perfectionism: overt and covert. I have covert, and just to show you the difference, I'm going to tell you what overt is. So I had a friend a long time ago, and she I would say would be considered an overt perfectionist. An overt perfectionist is kind of what you would associate with the term of perfectionism. So when you think of someone being a perfectionist, you would think of the overt perfectionist most of the time. So this is somebody who on the outside appears all together. So that's that person that you notice has their hair done every day, makeup done perfect every day. They don't really have like off days, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, they're consistent, like maybe they will, but they'll be, it'll be sort of like, I don't know if this makes sense to you, but they kind of have an organized, even when they have an off day, it's an organized off day, or if they're even together on their off day, if that makes sense. And by off day, I just mean maybe like a lazy day, their hair's up, whatever, but even that seems put together, because most of these people are put together at all times, and they're constantly worried about achieving this the status of perfection, which is obviously elusive to both the overt and covert, but the overt is more, it's more, how do I say this? It's more visible to the world. That's really what it is. It's a visible version. So that's something you see, like I said, somebody who's put together. Physically, most of the time you'll see it. And then also in terms of mentally, they may be combative in the way that they speak because they feel that they know more than you. These types of people might be more clean. They might, organized is a big thing. Their home is like everything is in perfect order and conditions. It's clean. I might have already said that. Just put together, like I said, in all aspects, areas of their life usually. Now, a covert perfectionist. That's where I fall into, and I think a lot of people might also fall into that category as well. You are not outwardly viewed as a perfectionist, and this is why, and this is how that manifests. I actually portray myself as more of a laid-back person. On the inside, I wouldn't really call myself laid back. I do a lot of thinking. I do a lot of ruminating. Ruminating, if you don't know what that means, it means just kind of thinking a lot over something over and over and over again. I do a lot of self-talk, negative self-talk. Not so much anymore, but I did more so in the past. I just do a lot of talk to myself. I like to know why I'm doing things. I like to be extremely organized in my mind. This might seem weird. So on the outside, people would not necessarily view me as a perfectionist. I'm a bit scattered. I'm late for things. I'm scattered in the sense of my surroundings are not always organized. My living space is not necessarily organized. My plans are not necessarily organized at all. Like I might be doing this and that and stretch myself thin. Really, I might not really be seen as an organized perfectionist person, but on the inside, what a covert perfectionist is doing on the inside is they're competing with that overt perfectionist most of the time. So they see that person who's a perfectionist on the outside and they're competing inwardly, even though they're not living up to that, because that's not really who they are, but they have this need to sort of strive for that perfection. Like they don't feel good enough, if that makes sense. So I have so much expectation, whereas it's not really showing on the outside that expectation that I have. So that's essentially the difference. That's one thing I have. And in terms of how I cope, by the way, another disclaimer, this video is going to be long. strap yourself in. I'm going to try to edit it down as much as possible. How I cope. Essentially, the way that I cope is I talk to people and I get their kind of views on their goals and how they accomplish goals. It's good to get an idea of, this might sound bad, but normal or more healthy habits, and see if you can try to adopt those and if they help. The one thing that you need to realize about striving to do so much when really you don't have the time or energy to do it all is that I think this is really what I'm still trying to do, is try to focus on one thing a day. I don't mean just do like read one word a day or something, but tell yourself, I'm going to finish this one book today, and everything else is not on your to-do list. It's just that one thing on the to-do list so the point of that is that you put all your energy into one thing and you get it done. Because I find is I put 10 things down and I don't even get any of them done. Maybe I'll get a few of the little things, but a lot of the important things get pushed away because I start with the small things and try to work my way down, and I'll never have time to do it all. Essentially, that's really what's biting me in the butt, if for lack of a better term. It's just because I put so much on my plate and I start with the little things, and then eventually I lose steam, I get frustrated, and I don't get what I really want done. Like filming this video today has been a real struggle. I tend to put a lot of excuses into why I don't start something. And really the only excuse is that I'm trying to do too much and I'm not putting my priorities first. So put your priority first and try to get one really big thing you want to get done per day. Like have it be a priority. If you want to get all those little things done, great. Maybe just focus them to the end. Or don't worry about them that day. Just worry about the one important thing you want to do that day. Because being a covert perfectionist, really, if it's not really serving you, why adapt that kind of a mindset? Why adapt such a difficult competitive mindset when you're kind of just wearing yourself thin? So that's kind of what I've learned when I discovered me having covert perfectionism. The second thing is a type of OCD that I have. So what I discovered, I would say like maybe 3 years back, maybe even longer, maybe 4 years ago, I had, I would say, just like generalized anxiety disorder. Like I would just overthink everything. And I won't really get into too much of generalized anxiety disorder. I think most people know what it is and can talk about it. But essentially that's just worrying a lot about a lot of different things, and it's not very like specific anxiety on one thing or one type of anxiety that's bothering you. My GAD did eventually lead towards this. So I had GAD, and then eventually I had this, which is called pure O, and OCD is I would say falls into a category of anxiety. Again, this is like the perfectionism. It's like another type of perfectionism that you don't see. So I don't know what it is, but I suffer from a lot of things that are internal that a lot of people don't see. The debilitating version of the OCD came about when I started to think of something and then worry about what I had just thought. So what it is it began with sort of a negative thought about somebody. And I think there are fairly amount of people that have gone through this. This is how it started off, and then it went to something more physical. But first it was mental. I would think about something like somebody's race, and I would think something negative about it. I remember when it happened and when it started, I was working at my work, and there was somebody that came in, and I just thought, why don't I think something bad about them and their race? Like, not necessarily really racist, I just thought, I thought something bad about them. And I just said it in my head, and then all of a sudden, it was kind of like I was testing myself, like, are you a bad person? Do you really think this? So I thought it in my head. I'm not going to get too specific because I don't really like to share it too much about what it specifically was. But what it is that you just think something negative and then you beat yourself up for the negative thought. So, and also attached to that is that you attempt to get rid of the thoughts, and then every time you see somebody maybe of another race, you'll be triggered to think of something negative, and then you'll beat yourself up for the thought. Here's how to cope with that, because it took me many years, maybe 2 or 3 years to get over this. Actually, it's somewhat recently. I moved on to a different kind, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But in terms of how to cope with that, so I got a trick that really worked for me. If let's say, and because of this trick, I almost don't suffer from this anymore, but it was torturous. And I know some people are going through this, and I know how bad it is. It's just like, you think of it, and then you worry, and then you beat yourself up, and then it can actually destroy your whole day. I think something bad, and then I beat myself up, and I go, what's wrong with me? Am I this? Am I that? I'm a terrible person. And it would be over and over and over and over again, drive me absolutely bananas. And I would just go on a spiral. I didn't really know much about what I was going through and why I was suffering from this. I did research. I finally found an article that described exactly what I was going through. And then eventually I saw some YouTube videos about people talking about it, and how they cope with it, how they got over it. And what I felt worked for me was this. It's very simple. Once I think of something bad, I don't interact with it. Because what I've realized with all types of anxiety is that we're approaching our thoughts in the wrong way. We're approaching our thoughts and judging our own thoughts and interacting with them. How we should view our own thoughts is if they're clouds. They're passing through your mind as clouds. You don't need to attach yourself to them or get dragged along with any of them, take you on a wild ride with any of those thoughts, because you are not your thoughts. I am not a bad person. I'm not a racist person. I'm not somebody who would want to hurt anyone. And some people go through a version of that where they think of harming someone or doing something. I've gone through that. I've had all types of silly little thoughts in my head. But whatever they are, they do not pertain to who I am. I'm a kind individual who physically always is trying to help people, and also verbally is always trying to uplift people and bring people up. And I love everybody of all different races and cultures, and whatever you're, green, yellow, pink, whatever you are, I love you. I'm somebody who tries to practice that in my daily life, and I strongly, I'm convicted that that's the way I need to live my life. So whatever negative things are going on up here that are trying to pull me into some spiral that I've created, I need to not attach myself to them. So even if I do have that thought that's bad, sure, it's a bad thought. I don't know if it's bad, good, whatever. Don't label it. It's in your anxiety. That's all it is. Pops in your head. Do not attach yourself to it. Do not think about it. Don't go over it. Don't interact with it. Let it go. Let it go. Because the more that you interact with it, the worse it gets. But if it pops in, sure, it'll pop in, because you've been doing that to yourself for the longest time, having something pop in and then arguing with it and going crazy about it. So what you have to do is you have to allow it to happen and just move on past it. And the less you interact with it, the more it'll go away. So I almost never have those kinds of thoughts anymore, because I don't interact with them even if I have them. So let's say I have the thought once every 3 months. Soon it'll be maybe once every 5 months, once every 6 months, and that's progress. And I don't beat myself up for it having it once every 2 months or once every 5 months, or however often I have it. I do not interact with it in a negative way. So that's how I got over that, and I'm very happy to have got over that. Unfortunately, I ended up manifesting another type of pure O. It's something I don't really like to talk about because I'm currently going through it right now, but because I'm being so open today with with this video, let me just tell you a little bit about it and why and how I'm suffering. So essentially, again, it's a thought and it's an interaction in which I beat myself up over, and then it's a spiral where I keep doing it and then keep beating myself up over it. And this is an eye contact thing where I am looking at somebody who's speaking to me and I'm worried I'm going to look down at their chest, at something lower in their body region, their arms, hands, something that is below them. And it's embarrassing, especially if you're a girl and you're looking at a woman's bust. You may get upset at yourself and go, that's weird, and she might not like that, the person who was talking to me, and they're going to think badly of me, and it goes on and on and on and on. Because it goes on and on and on, I do it again. Because it's like a tick. You do it, you beat yourself up over it, and then you do it again. And you fear it. You fear it. So you avoid situations where you have to interact with people. And then it really manifests. Now it's, because of it, it's pretty much a form of social anxiety. I would still group it in the pure OCD, but it's a form of social anxiety now because I avoid people and avoid social interactions. How I'm coping with this now. How I'm coping with it. Essentially, I've started meditating again. I've always meditated, but on and off. I've been a lot more consistent lately, and the consistency I feel like is helping me. It's helping to calm my mind, because I've tried a lot of deliberate things to get rid of it, and it's just not working. So I'm allowing myself to reap the benefits of the meditation over time, and I am noticing I am more motivated, and I notice I am more calmer, and my pure O is less dominant. But still, I do fear a lot of social situations, and I'm worried about what's going to happen. Now, another thing that's really helped me with this is travel. When I was really suffering from it, it was also because I wasn't. Keep in mind, coping a lot of the times is eating healthy, taking vitamins, and exercising. Those are excellent coping mechanisms for all types of anxiety. Those things I do, of course, and I know that they work. And I went to Egypt, and all of a sudden, the pure O that was bothering me for months just subsided and floated away. I put my energy into being present. I was more social, just how I actually view myself. I view myself as a social person. Growing up, people called me social butterfly. I was in acting. I would put myself out there. I've always been the type of person that likes to make everyone laugh and be comfortable with myself. But with this, I was really struggling to be all those things, those things that I knew I really was. And when I started traveling, I noticed those things coming out way more. I love to make people laugh. I was going out and being so social, just being myself, not even thinking about anxiety, or it wasn't even popping into my head. I wouldn't say it was just so black and white, like immediately I just had no anxiety. It was a transition, actually. I was also, enjoying my life. I was doing lots of activities and seeing new things and meeting new people and sharing my story and hearing their story, and all these different lovely, wonderful things that we're meant to experience was positively affecting me and helping my anxiety go away. Routine was one of the biggest killers, and the fact that I wasn't able to be the creative person I always thought I was because of things were holding me back. I was allowing those barriers to just float away. The main thing that I've learned is just I have to be easy on myself, focus on my dreams, and eventually things will come together. And with in terms of how I'm trying to view life, is that I need to be grateful and enjoy the little moments, because if I'm always looking ahead at something that I'm going to worry about, or even just looking ahead at something positive, it's like, who cares? We're in the moment right now. I need to be happy in this moment. I need to share people the real me, the true me. So I might as well relax and be happy. And that doesn't always work, but I try my best to try to put it in my mind And I'm hoping that eventually my mindset will change because being anxious have really robbed me of a lot of happy and enjoyable moments with my family, with friends, with so many different interactions with people, workplace, whatever. And I just finally want to feel that ease, that relaxation, and that comfortability with that I know that I deserve, and that I know that I want to have when I'm with people, because I want people to see my best, and I want people to see my light, and I want it to shine through. That was pretty much all the types of anxiety. I do have, like I said, I went through GAD and then it manifested into this pure O nonsense. So I've kind of had all types of anxiety when you really think about it. I know definitely what OCD, people with OCD, they've gone through. Maybe I haven't had the extreme physical symptoms, but I have had physical symptoms. I've done some crazy things physically because of my OCD. One time I rode a bike 2 hours away just to clean something that I thought was dirty, and things like that. So I would just like to tell everyone who suffer from anxiety is to keep pushing forward, keep using those coping mechanisms, keep researching ways for you, the coping mechanisms that work for you, and just keep going in general. I don't like to sit around and feel bad for myself. I prefer to find ways to deal with issues and move forward, because we can all sit around and say, well, this is because of this and this is because of that. What's important for me is to be true to me. And I know I deserve more, and I know I can do more. And by that, I mean, I know I can be more. I know I can be more than this anxiety. And I watch people that talk about not having anxiety anymore, and I'm so motivated to eventually be there. And I know that with the law of attraction, I need to manifest what I want. So this is almost a 40-minute video. I have to cut this down, ladies and gentlemen. I will do my best to try to make more videos. I'm filming on my laptop, and so far this is great. It worked well. The only thing is the lighting and quality. But now that I have iMovie, this should be quick to upload and get out to you guys. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate it. Please subscribe if you want some more, and please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And I will see you guys again soon. Bye!